Hello everyone, Zach here. Um, so let's look into Bitcoin's price action. I'm also going to cover Ethereum, Cardano, as well as Sp500. So let's get started with Bitcoin first. So this is a Bitcoin chart on weekly time frame, and so on weekly time frame, everybody should know that Bitcoin has been in an uptrend, um, and this is the last confirmed higher low on weekly time frame for Bitcoin, which is quite far from where we are. And this low that we had over here is the last unconfirmed higher low. That means it is not protected. As long as we don't close a weekly candle above this high, there's a chance that we can come back to this low. Okay. We're going to look at other factors that can influence whether we can come down here or not. To do that, we have to zoom into daily time frame and see what we have going on in here. So on daily time frame, we had this nice uptrend going on. Okay. And this was the last. This is now a confirmed high, and this was supposed to be the confirmed higher low, but nothing happened. From here to here, nothing happened. Everything that happened between here to here is irrelevant because everything happened as part of this move in this candle. So this candle that we put in here was the main high, and everything in between is irrelevant because what we did is, after going here, we put in this low, we mark it, and then we broke this low over here. May not be visible, so let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, you can see this wick that we had over here was replaced by this wick, and then we got a close below this low by a very tiny margin, but we did get a close below. That means this is now a confirmed breakdown of market structure on daily time frame. So now we are in a downtrend on a daily time frame. So we should just discard this pull. It is irrelevant now, and we should start a new pull. This is the lower high, lower low, lower low, lower high, and then we can possibly create new lows after this. Okay, and where are we going to come down to? So in market structure theory, price always seeks supply and demand zones, and then the job of supply and demand zones is to flip the market structure to bullish or bearish. It's not mandatory for them to do that. If they are able to do that, that means they have done their job properly. If they are not, that means the supply or the demand was not strong enough. So we will see what happens when the price comes down to this demand zone. Okay, so that's the demand zone I have been talking about in Discord for a while. This is where the price is coming down to. We're going to look at when it's likely that price comes down here, but usually, and this is the order block. The demand zone is this entire range that we had over here. This entire consolidation range is the demand zone. Okay, and we can even refine it further by looking where price can bounce off. Usually the price bounces off the POC of the demand zone. So we can come down to this particular level. And then once we hit this level, at that point, if this demand zone is a strong demand zone, that means there is real, there are some whales sitting here. There is market makers who actually consolidated or bought Bitcoin in this range that caused this move up. If they are still present here, what they are going to do is Bitcoin will basically come down and then cause a break in market structure to bullish, back to bullish. Now it can happen over here, or we can break the market structure to bullish right over here itself. We will see how the structure develops over time. Okay. So from market structure perspective, this is what I'm looking at. A dip into this zone, maybe a little bit of consolidation over here, and then move up. Okay. Now let's look at this from another perspective. Now this is, I posted this chart earlier. So this is a macro chart for Bitcoin. We have been moving in this parallel channel. This is on logarithmic scale. So we have been moving in this parallel channel. We broke down, and we tested the lower edge of this parallel channel over here. Then we rejected here, And then when we moved up again from 57K, we again tested the lower edge of this parallel channel. And then we are getting another rejection from this parallel channel. Right now we are being held up by this lower trend line that has been going on from 26K bottom. Looks like we might break it. Okay, looks like we might break it, and then we will try to find a bottom over here. We will see what happens. But let's say we try to find a bottom over here, and I have marked this line over here because we have these EMAs on weekly time frame. Right now this 21 EMA sits around 61 or 62K zone right now. As the time progresses, this will move higher, but around 62K zone we have this 21 EMA. It's possible it can find a bottom over here. Why? Because if we are to continue this bull market in the later part of this year, 21 EMA is very important. So you can see over here, 21 EMA is never lost. Once the bull market started over here, we tested it so many times, and it always held. Unless we start to flip bullish, I still expect it to hold ground and then get a very strong move up from there on. Okay. But what we will do is, once we break this yellow line, we will turn this into resistance, just like we turned this line, the orange line, which is the lower end of this parallel channel, into resistance once we broke down from here. So our move up from here will be restricted by this yellow line. Okay, and based on this, we can possibly predict what our high will be. So if we are expecting our highs to be in by August or September time frame, so we can see we can go as high as $86,000 or $87,000, and this is where this yellow line and this orange line meet as well. And that's what I expect too. I mean, there are other reasons as well where I think we might top out around 80 to 85K price level for Bitcoin. I'm going to get into that soon, but yeah, I mean, we will find a bottom over here and then possibly keep testing this as a resistance as we go up, and possibly top somewhere around here. Okay, so this is another view of the price action. Now let's look at on daily time frame what's been going on and what can happen. So when we got this move up on RSI, we got this very small divergence over here. So this is almost equal high. So this is very slightly higher high than this high, but this RSI printed a bearish divergence, and it is about to almost play out. You can see RSI is moving towards the oversold zone. If we get another dip here, this will possibly get into the deeper territory of oversold zone, and that's where I think the real bounce is going to come in. And if we just switch to 3-day time frame, we have this regression trend line coming in from these lows. Possibly we will see this 3-day RSI come down even further and then hit this trend line, and then we will get a bounce off, something like this. So that's what I'm hoping coming into June end and July. Okay, now let's look into the dates. What are the important dates for Bitcoin? So I've already posted about the important dates for Bitcoin, and one of the important dates for Bitcoin is June 21st of June. Okay, so I have drawn these angles, so you can see these angles. This is a 45-degree angle, this is a 22-degree angle, this is a 45-degree angle. So for those who don't know about GAN, the intersection of 45 and 22-degree angle produce nice pivots. That's what I have observed throughout price action of several assets. I will show you in Sp500 as well, but you can clearly see here that this is an intersection between 22 and then this downward 45-degree angle, and this, and around here we found the bottom. Similarly here we found the top. This intersection we found the bottom. Okay, and so yeah, now what's happening over here is we are finding lots of pivots over here. So you can see I have drawn these angles from the most recent pivots for Bitcoin 45 degree, 22 degree, 45 and 22, and these are coming back from these pivots, 38K low, and then we are seeing a lot of intersection in this zone. And what this tells me is we are probably looking at a lot of volatility coming into end of June. From this weekend to end of June, we are looking at a lot of volatility, and you can see the pivot continues even after that. We have even more intersections coming in by first week of, or by the end of first week of July. So possibly what we will see is a lot of chop, a lot of volatile move up, something like this maybe in this range from 60 to 65K. We'll possibly see a lot of chop like this before getting a very strong move up to 85 to 90K in August. Okay, so that's my expectation in terms of price action of Bitcoin. Now let's look at Ethereum. Ethereum is even more crazy. So we not only have like one triangle that we saw over here. So Bitcoin just had this one triangle. Ethereum has like two triangles, and we can see a lot of chop in this region, and the chops basically represent accumulation. So as you can see, we had this lot of chop over here, and this was nothing but accumulation for this move up. Okay, so it's a good thing. So if you don't break down any key angles for any important zones like this that I have highlighted over here, this is an opportunity zone. I have highlighted this an opportunity zone because of this particular breaker block. So for those who don't know what a breaker block is, so breaker block is is a zone of supply or demand which was supposed to work and produce a reaction, but it did not. So you can see this particular breaker block, this was a zone of supply. Price came back, it basically fronted this supply. This is called inducement. It's very common occurrence in market making. So you come here, we just front it, front run this zone of supply, and then when we come back to it, if this was supposed to work, this was a very high probability short setup back down to this particular low, but it did not. What happened is we basically sliced through it. Now once we do this, it becomes a breaker block. That means when we come back to this zone again, it becomes a long setup, automatic long setup. Now breaking this breaker block is bad news. Basically, it does not mean that Ethereum is done and that we're not going to get any kind of move up from here. We will. So this is a demand zone. There was a lot of consolidation here. Obviously we are going to get a move up from here, going to get a bounce if we ever going to come down to this zone. But in order to continue the bull market for Ethereum, I don't want a closure below this low. I mean 3238 or 3242. If we lose this, or you can say if we lose this particular angle, this is 22-degree angle from this low, I think bull market for Ethereum is done. We might get a bounce back up to this high, wherever it is, like 3,900. But that's it for Ethereum. If Ethereum wants to see another high into deep 4,000s, which I think is possible, as long as this particular low holds, we can get as high as like 4,500 or even 5,000 later this year. Okay. So I'll post this chart. You can see the dates, so you can mark these dates for important pivots and price action. And so you can just draw similar angles on your chart and then mark these dates on your chart and set alerts for these dates. Okay. So that's what I see for Ethereum as well. In summary, basically, I'm looking for a move up from this zone. And I posted this setup on my page, and I'm possibly going to enter a long round this zone by the end of this week or middle of next week. So I want to wait to see what happens by the end of this week. If you don't come down to this zone and just hang around this zone, then possibly want to wait even longer for next week to come and see what happens coming into next week. I forgot to tell you one important detail for Bitcoin. So I marked this date over here, that is 23rd June, 3rd of June, Sunday. Usually nothing happens on Sunday, so whatever moves that needs to take place will be initiated on Friday itself of the week. So this is the main date, 21st of June. 21st of June is very important. So we have this I always forget that whether it's a full moon or a new moon. Let me see. We have this indicator. So we will have, if I don't know what this is a new moon or full moon. So whatever moon, this white moon mark the bottom. Okay. So I have actually backtested this indicator going back to as far as 15K bottom. So for almost 68 to 70% of time, these moons have predicted tops and bottoms. So these should not be ignored. So we have new moon coming up around the same day, on 20th or 21st of June, as well as we have another fundamental event that let me bring here. So if you guys don't know, we have this quad witching event that is going to take place on 21st of June. That's why that date was important to me. Apart from having a GAN pivot around that day, we have this important event. So quad witching is basically third Friday of March, June, September, and December. Every year we have expiry of several future, like we have expiry of options and then futures on these dates. And I have backtested this, so you can do the same for all the previous years. These dates every year have marked a pivot. Either they mark the top or they mark the bottom. So that's why that date was important to me, 21st of June. And I wanted to wait till that date to enter any kind of long setups on any asset, Bitcoin or Ethereum, or we are going to look at Cardano now. So I just saw that Bob has posted this similar setup that I posted in my on my page for ADA. So I posted this setup, like the smaller setup, this played out, and then I wanted to wait for this particular zone to be hit, and I'm expecting a very nice move from this setup. It might take some time, some consolidation in this zone, but then once it is done, I expect a very nice move up. So if this is a very nice place to load up on spot, because it is very close to the bottom of this cycle, around 23 cents. If you were in my previous Discord group, the market makers, I posted a setup to load up around here, and I posted the target to be around 66 cents. That was a 3x. Now I think we can again get a very nice move up from this zone. This would be a higher low on monthly and weekly time frame for Cardano, and we can get a move up to $1 or $1 or $1.2. I actually made a very detailed video just on Cardano, and I will leave a link for that video when I post this in the Discord. Okay, so you guys can look at it and see what I'm talking about. Okay, so in that video also I have been talking about when that I'm going to load up Cardano on spot in this zone around 35 to 30 cent zone. Another thing is to note about Cardano here is basically the stop loss. Even though I have mentioned it in my setup that its stop loss is around 31 cents, but we can even come down to 28 cents and be fine, because this is the main low that basically broke structure here. So this low to me is a protected low. I mean, so we can even come down lower, 31 cents, 30 cents, 29 cents, and it would be fine. The stop loss ideally should be below this 28 cents low. But I don't personally use any kind of stop loss on spot setups. It's up to you whether you want to use a stop loss on a spot setup or not. Personally, this is going to be a very good opportunity for. I mean, I think this is the second best opportunity for loading up Cardano in this cycle. Okay, the first best opportunity was here, which I already gave you guys. Gave away in market makers. Now this is the second best opportunity for Cardano. Okay. Yeah, so I also wanted to cover S&P 500. Okay. Okay. So in S&P 500, I posted this chart that we had a pivot around here. I was expecting a top to form around here, but what happened is we formed a bottom on this particular date, the 12th of June, and then we moved up. Okay, and then we are expected something like this, and so far it has played out like this. But what's interesting now is we are approaching another important date. So this date, that is 2nd of July, and this date falls right after the quad witching date, um, which is 21st of June. This sorry, this date falls right after and this date has a lot of confluence from several perspectives. So here if you see, um, price has been vibrating from this low every 41 days. So if you don't know again theory, price is equal to time. So you see over here, so the price was 4100, okay, and then every 41 days we get a pivot over here. You can see, and then next 41 days we got a pivot. Next 41 days we had a pivot and we moved up, another pivot and we got a move down, another pivot and we got a move down, and then the next pivot is on 2nd July. Okay, so and it also falls very close to this particular cross between this angle and this angle. So there is a confluence there. So if we keep getting a move up like this, or I expect a top around 2nd of July, or maybe we have already hit our top over here, okay, because you can see here this is going to be a pivot. That means tomorrow we might see a move down here. Tomorrow or on Wednesday we might start seeing a move down here. So we can find a temporary top here and stop, do something like this, vibrate along this angle, do a double top, and then get a move down. Okay, at that point we would definitely have lost this angle. Okay, the next move down will be a big one because we don't have anything in between until we hit this particular zone, okay, or this zone. So this will be a big move down. So why I wanted to look at S&P is, so if we are expecting a top to form around this date or this date, and I was talking about finding a bottom on Bitcoin on 21st of June or probably 29th of June, the following week of 21st of June, I don't see Bitcoin going much higher if S&P 500 or other markets are falling. So that's why I said I see a lot of chop here. So we can basically chop around this zone for a while. That means we can do something like this and major consolidation can take place. And from another perspective, if you look at this, if we take this structure as an inverted head and shoulders, okay, so this is forming on Ethereum, similar structure is forming on Bitcoin. We spent some time to form the left shoulder, around 27 days. We spent some time, 36 days to form, to create the head, and we can form a similar, we can take similar amount of time to form the right shoulder, and that comes in around end of July. So it's possible that starting from June end to July, we might consolidate in this region, and then by the end of July we start getting a large move up. Okay, so as long as key structures hold, it's very good news. And then we expect, I mean, I personally expect this zone to hold for Ethereum, even for Bitcoin. I'm treating this dip as an opportunity where we will most likely get a higher low. From all I know, we are most likely going to get a higher low in this range, around 60 to 64K, somewhere around this zone. And then we are going to get a nice move up to 81,000 or 83,000. Okay. Now, last but not the least, I wanted to show something else to you guys. Okay, let me first draw this weekly harmonic structure that I'm looking at. Someone, I think Vani, asked me this question, why I was looking at a move down to 38K or lower 40Ks. The reason for that is, you can see this is like 1.14. Okay, so this, and then 786. Yeah, 786 falls somewhere around 46K, and I have seen these overshoot as well So we can possibly come down to 886 as well, and it will still be valid. Okay, so this is a weekly cipher, and it perfectly coincides with this trend line that we have over here. Let me switch to logarithmic view. Sorry. Okay. So you see how perfectly this particular coincides with it, and so this would be my ideal scenario for Bitcoin to play out. So we are going to get one chance over here in this area to make money. Okay, we're going to get a chance to load up on alts in this area when we are going to come and test this top of the parallel channel one more time and get to 82 or 83k zone for Bitcoin, and alts will do possibly 3x 4x. Most of the alts, bigger alts, will do 3x 4x from here, and then we're going to get a massive drop, because what will happen is why I'm expecting a massive drop from here is because of this. So this is a distribution zone right now. So this is a high time frame distribution zone. So we have got our first tap over here. This is the second tap, and if you know anything from Wyckoff perspective, we always get 3 taps. So this is, and then we can get a very nice move up and then down, and that's how distributions are completed. This would be the UTAD of the entire Wyckoff distribution, and at that time we will break this low, and then we come down here, and then we will start our journey upwards from there. Now whether we go up to new highs from there, that remains to be seen, but in any case, given the size of this particular structure on weekly time frame, the move up is going to be massive. We are at least going to come, at least going to come to 67k or 70k from here. Okay, so that's like almost 50% move on Bitcoin, and then you can imagine how much alts will pump. So if you can load up here, make some money on this move up, then the next chance for swing traders would be to load up here and then make money on this move up, and that's what I am looking forward to in Bitcoin's price action coming into next few months. Okay, just one more thing before I finish this video. I have this fractal that I saw that Bitcoin is following exactly like that. So if you go over here on 6 hours time frame, we go back to previous high. Okay, okay, let's see, let's copy this over and bring it here. I'll switch to daily time frame. You can see now, yeah, you can see how beautifully similar these price actions are. Okay, that's like an exact copy of what happened there in the previous top that we made over here. So we are getting this dip. Okay, it may not be visible, but let me make it a little bit. Okay, make it, yeah, yes. So this is an exact replica, and then we are getting this dip here. We are likely going to consolidate here for a while before we get this move up, and see where we are landing here. 83k, and look at where we are landing here, 47k. Does it remind you? Okay, let me, where was that? Okay, sorry, I might have wiped it, but yeah, the ERZ for the cipher was around 46k, and I just showed to you guys. So that's what I'm expecting. I mean, I'm just looking at the confluences that are telling me that we are going to find a higher low into this particular demand zone that we have over here for this move up. Okay. Okay. So yeah, so I'll post this video on the Discord. If you guys have any questions, you can post them and ask me directly. Okay, talk to you guys soon. Okay, bye.